Hey everybody, this is Wileen. I was inspired to create this video because I've had several people that I've been talking to about my Ascend program and that are super excited about getting started. They know that it's the right decision. They know that they want to work with me. They know that this program is going to provide everything that they need, and they're not moving forward because of money. And I think it's so ironic that that is the reason, because that is one of the big pieces that I'm adding to this program is how to command your resources. And I just want everybody to be able to participate in this, but obviously there is a cost to working with me. So I wanted to create this video and just share some of the things that I have learned about this subject of resources. Last December, I was invited to go to Costa Rica. I had a friend whose husband wasn't able to go at the last minute, and she texted me and said, "Hey, my husband's not going to be able to go. Would you go and be my roommate?" And I immediately texted back. I actually checked in, kind of visualized myself in Costa Rica, and I was like, yep, that feels really good. So I said yes. And I immediately contacted the travel agent who was booking all the flights. And I said, I'm going. Would you please book me a flight? And they did immediately. And I got confirmation on that. And then I started thinking about, oh, okay, I am in charge of the family Christmas party. I have this obligation to put the family Christmas party on. And it's going to happen 2 days after I leave for Costa Rica. And if I had not booked my flight right away and kind of been in a place of, sort of like a point of no return, then I might have called my friend back and said, you know what, never mind, I'm in charge of the family Christmas party. I should probably stay here and handle that. And so you'll have to find a different roommate. I'm not going to go. But since I'd already booked the flight and kind of committed myself, I started looking at what resources do I have to handle this obligation. And so I reached out to my family, and my husband and my daughters were compliant. I think they probably would have loved to go to Costa Rica too, but they were excited to be able to support me in being able to go, and they handled the Christmas party. I had most everything planned out, and I just gave them a list and a checklist, and I said, this is what you need to do, and basically just turned it over to them. And it was so amazing when I came home. They said, Mom, we tried to do your checklist, but everybody just wanted to play games. And so we just kind of went with the flow. And I was like, you know what? That's great. You guys were here. I wasn't here. It might have gone differently if I was here running it. But since you were running it, then I'm just super happy that you were willing to step up for me so that I could participate in this. So that was a resource that I had. It was not monetary. The obligation wasn't monetary. The obligation was time, but I had a resource in the form of delegation, that I had people that were willing to step up for me because I've stepped up for them so many times in the past in so many different ways that it was just easy to ask. And other things came to mind as well. It was Christmas time. I had not started my Christmas shopping. That was one of the obligations that I thought of was, wow, I haven't gotten my Christmas shopping done yet. And if I go to Costa Rica, that's going to be a week and a half that I'll have kind of downtime, where I won't be able to go Christmas shopping. But I thought, wow, there are gift ideas in Costa Rica. So voila, I was able to do my Christmas shopping there in Costa Rica, got that all done, and my family got some amazing gifts from a different country, and it was perfect. It was awesome. Several other things came up for me too. There were some financial obligations that I had, and the thought crossed my mind, should I really be going to Costa Rica if I have this other financial obligation? But that prompted me to do an exercise. And so I'm going to invite you to do this exercise and just see what you can learn from it. The exercise is to take a piece of paper and a pen. So I'm going to invite you to grab that right now. And on the piece of paper, you're going to write down all the obligations that you have. These are all the things that might stop you from taking action on, whether it be the Ascend program that I've offered, or if it is something else that you're holding back. Maybe you've been inspired, maybe you feel in your heart that this really is the next step that you need to take, but you're holding back because you've got some obligations. So I'm going to invite you to write those down. Obligations or commitments that would maybe stop you from taking action on something you feel inspired to take part in. And then after you get those obligations written down, and the main reason why we do that is because we want to get them out of your brain onto some paper so that we can actually take a look at them. We're taking an accounting of our resources. And then on the back side of the paper, I'm going to have you flip it over. And on the back side of the paper, you're going to write your resources. Okay. And so this might be money that you have in a savings account. It might be money that you have some space you have on a credit card. It might be equity that you have in your home. And I'm not suggesting that you go out and mortgage your home so that you can participate in the Ascend program. But what I am suggesting is that you be open to writing down every resource that you have available at your disposal. Because a lot of times we make a decision based on how much is in our bank account, and we don't allow the universe to provide anything else because we think that's the only resource that we have. And if it's not enough, then we can't participate. I want to also just interject right here the word afford. The word afford comes up a lot. I can't afford that. I can't afford this. Well, we can afford that. And if you look in the scriptures, if you just search that word, just go to your topical guide and search the word afford in the scriptures and read those scriptures. And when you do, substitute the word afford with allow, and it will work. All of the scriptures will work if you substitute the word allow with afford. If you substitute the word afford with allow. And if you think about it, afford really does mean allowing. If I can afford myself something, that means I can allow myself to have it or participate in it. So whenever you say the word afford, just remember that you're saying allow. So if you say, I can allow myself to have this, or I can't allow myself to have this, then just realize that that's what you're saying. That's what you're telling the universe, and that's what you're saying to yourself. So on that list of resources, be open to allow or afford the universe, your inspiration, your genius, to be able to share with you what resources are actually available to you. And my guess is that you're going to find a lot more resources than you ever thought that you had. And then at that moment, you can, when you've got that whole list, and don't limit it to money. You might have a Saturday morning that is free. That is a resource that you have some time. You might have a gift of babysitting, and that is a resource that you have access to. So whatever value that you have available to you, that's what you want to put on that paper. So fill that paper up with all the resources. Be open. Allow your inspiration to tell you what those resources are. And then once you get that list done, if you're like me, the front side of my paper with the obligations, I had maybe about 15 things. And the back side of my paper with the resources, I had the whole page filled up, plus it was written in the margins of all the resources that I had. And then I started going through the list of resources, and I thought, which one of these resources would match up with this obligation that I am wanting to put myself, that I've made for myself to go to Costa Rica in my situation. So which one of these resources actually would help me to be able to allow or afford myself to go to Costa Rica with a clear conscience? And one of the resources I wrote was that I'm really great at creating content. I'm great at creating videos and audios and written things about really inspiring stuff. And so I grabbed that and I thought, wouldn't Costa Rica be an awesome backdrop for a video series? And so those of you who have participated in the LEAP program, you know that that video series was created mostly in Costa Rica. That would not have been accomplished, first of all, if I hadn't gone to Costa Rica, but also because I allowed myself to go to Costa Rica and I used one of my resources, my ability to create content, to be able to pay for that trip. Because when I came back and I sold that program, then that I've at least made that much or more that it cost for the trip to Costa Rica. So do this exercise and then see what you can learn. See what you learn about your obligations versus your resources, and what can you allow yourself. And I want to extend an invitation to you to send me a text and just let me know what you learned from this exercise. My phone number is 385-207-8808. And I'm completely detached whether you participate in the Ascend program or not. But what I do want you to know is that I am so committed to you learning this lesson and this language of money and resources and creating abundance in your life. So text me back. Let me know what you learn. Hope to hear from you soon.